Have you ever felt like something was watching you? Not just a passing feeling, but a deep, unsettling sense that you're not alone, even when you know you should be. It's as if the shadows themselves are alive, shifting and breathing in the corners of your vision. Sometimes, late at night, when the world outside is silent and the only sound is your own heartbeat, you can almost hear something else, something you can't quite explain. Like the air around you suddenly thickened, and every creak in the floor, every flicker of a shadow made your heart beat faster. It's as if the apartment itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. You try to tell yourself it's just your imagination, that old buildings make strange noises, that shadows are just tricks of the light. But deep down you know there's something more. The feeling lingers, growing stronger with every passing night. You start to notice patterns, the way the temperature drops in certain rooms, the way your skin prickles when you walk down the hallway, the way your reflection in the mirror seems just a little off, as if it's watching you back. That's what happened to me. It started with small things, a misplaced object, a door that wouldn't stay closed, a whisper of movement just out of sight. I tried to ignore it, to rationalize it away, but the feeling only grew. There were nights when I'd wake up drenched in sweat, convinced that someone, or something, was standing at the foot of my bed. I'd lie there, frozen, listening to the silence, too afraid to move. Sometimes, I'd catch a glimpse of a shadow darting across the wall, or hear a faint whisper that seemed to come from nowhere. I began to dread the darkness, to fear the quiet moments when I was alone with my thoughts. Friends told me I was just stressed, that I needed more sleep, but I knew what I felt was real. And to this day, I still don't have a good explanation for what I experienced. All I know is that since I moved out of that apartment, I've never been the same. The memories linger, haunting me in quiet moments, reminding me that some things can't be explained away. Sometimes, when the night is especially still, I wonder if whatever was in that apartment followed me, or if it's still there, waiting for the next person to walk through the door. The unexplained has a way of staying with you, long after you've left it behind. This isn't some creepypasta, this really happened, and if you've ever lived alone, this story might hit a little too close to home. So this was back in October 2021. I had just gone through a rough breakup and needed a fresh start. I remember the feeling of exhaustion and relief as I finally set down the last box in my new place, a one-bedroom apartment just outside of Kansas City. It wasn't much to look at, honestly. The building was old, the kind of place where the paint on the walls had faded into a dull beige, and the floorboards creaked with every step. The appliances were basic, probably older than I was, and the walls were so thin I could hear my neighbor's TV through the night. But the rent was cheap, and after everything I'd been through, that was enough for me. I was looking for a place where I could just disappear for a while, somewhere quiet, where nobody knew my name or my story. The neighborhood seemed peaceful, almost sleepy, with tree-lined streets and the occasional dog walker passing by. At night, the only sounds were the distant hum of traffic and the soft buzz of the streetlights outside my window. It felt like the perfect spot to hit reset, to start over and figure out who I was without all the baggage I'd been carrying. The first few nights were strange. The emptiness of the apartment echoed around me, making the space feel even larger than it was. I slept on a mattress on the floor, surrounded by half-unpacked boxes, trying to convince myself that this was the fresh start I needed. I'd spend hours just sitting in the dim light, listening to the unfamiliar creaks and groans of the building settling around me. There was a certain comfort in the anonymity, in knowing that nobody expected anything from me here. But even in that quiet, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Maybe it was just the loneliness, or maybe it was the way the shadows seemed to linger a little too long in the corners of the room. Either way, I told myself it was just nerves, just the adjustment period of moving somewhere new. I had no idea then how quickly things would start to escalate. The first few days after moving in were, surprisingly, almost eerily normal. I remember the gentle hum of the city outside my window, the way the streetlights cast soft golden patterns on the walls at night. I spent hours unpacking my things, carefully arranging my books on the shelves, hanging up a few photos that reminded me of home, and trying to make the space feel like it was truly mine. There was a certain comfort in the routine, setting up my little work-from-home desk by the window, making coffee in the mornings, and watching the world go by from my new vantage point. In the evenings, I curl up on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, and let myself get lost in endless Netflix shows, the flickering screen filling the apartment with a familiar glow. The place, though small and a bit unfamiliar at first, started to feel cozy in its own way. The quiet was soothing, almost meditative, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of calm settling over me. It was as if the chaos of the past few weeks had finally faded into the background, replaced by a gentle, hopeful stillness. I found myself breathing easier, sleeping better, and even looking forward to the simple rituals of each new day.